Welcome back to PSL Living. I'm Sarah Prohaska, Communications Manager here at the City of Port St. Lucie. I'm happy to welcome Dr. David Barth, who is working with the city to help our Parks and Recreation Department create a 10-year master plan for the department. So I'd like to welcome Dr. David Barth to the studio today. Thank you, Dr. Barth, for coming.
No, thank you very much.
All right, so you are leading or helping lead this. It's a 10-month process, correct?
10 months plus or minus.
All right, and the city is creating a 10-year master plan for parks and recreation, correct? For the whole department.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that means, what goes into that, and why we would do that?
Yeah, the purpose is to, I think, first of all, create a long-range vision for the overall system. So you have this great system now, but you're growing. And so the question is, what type of system do you need to meet the needs, not just of residents who live here now, but people who are coming? And you don't have unlimited money, right? So no one has unlimited resources.
Nope.
So a big part of the master plan is to try to figure out what the needs and priorities are of residents, so you can create this long-range vision, but then also figure out what's most important for people to do in the near term, in the next 5 years, the next 5 years after that, and maybe even, it may be a 20-year master plan, depending on what kind of funding is available. So the purpose of that is to really have a roadmap for the park system.
Okay, perfect. So it kind of identifies needs over the next 10 years, wants, residents' wants.
Yeah, there's a hard, it's hard to define need versus want, but the steps of the process are that right now, for example, we're getting immersed in the system. So we've been visiting all the parks, we're evaluating the parks. But we're also doing a needs assessment.
Okay.
So this past week we've had interviews with different folks. We had a kids focus group over at the Boys and Girls Club. We had a steering committee made up of different representatives of the community. This afternoon we had a senior focus group, we had a sports focus group.
Wow.
So we're kind of getting immersed in not only your existing system, but using different techniques to figure out what people's needs and priorities are. And so that then leads to some type of long-range vision, which then leads to an implementation strategy and a funding phasing strategy. And so that's how it goes step by step by step.
Yeah.
So it's fairly linear, but we also start at the very beginning talking about implementation. So we've been talking to your council members about funding alternatives. So at the end of the process, we'll kind of come full circle.
And back to talking about funding.
Talking about funding.
Yeah, how to get it actually paid for and done, right?
So that's how the process works.
Yeah. So, and like I said, so Parks and Recreation is twofold. It has our parks and facilities, and then we have our recreational programs. This is looking at both of them, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
But it also, I'll interrupt you for a minute.
Sure.
It also deals with what are the larger issues that the city's facing.
Oh, okay.
And how can we maybe address some of those through Parks and Recreation? So I'll give you an example.
Yeah, give me an example.
Example is stormwater treatment's very important to the city, making sure we improve water quality before it goes to the river.
Yes.
So then we talk about, well, how could we, as we design parks going forward, make sure that parks also start acting as kidneys?
Okay.
And making sure that we help clean stormwater. Another issue you all are facing as you're growing is traffic.
Yes.
Well, then how do we make it so people can ride their bikes, walk, maybe use transit? How do you get around the community other ways than just driving?
Okay.
And that can be addressed through Parks and Recreation.
Yeah,
so we talk about the whole public realm, and we talk about how do we address not only Parks and Recreation needs, but citywide needs that maybe we can address through Parks and Recreation.
That's really good. So it's a whole global look.
Yeah.
So the stakeholder group that you said, what kinds of groups are involved with that?
We have business leaders, we have environmental folks, we have different sports folks, we have county folks. I'm trying to think of the different groups that are organized. So it's a cross-section of the community from different interests, partly because we want to make sure that we're not leaving anybody out and that we're representing all these different needs in the community. So I think we have about 20 folks, 25 folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And I know you've been here all week. This week you've been very busy talking to doing different interviews. I know you're meeting with council members, and you said you met with kids. So I'm kind of curious, can you give us just a little sneak peek of some of the feedback that they gave you?
It was fun. We went to the Boys and Girls Club, and they had two age groups that were there. They had the 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds, and then they had teenagers.
Okay.
And so the 5 to 7-year-olds had gone ahead and drawn us pictures.
Oh,
of
okay.
their perfect parks.
Okay.
And so then, we talked to them for a while about what they want to see, what's their ideal park. And we got things like cotton candy slides.
Oh, geez.
Which I have no idea what a cotton
Yeah.
candy slide is, but some really cool ideas.
Okay.
A lot of it having to do with food and candy.
Probably.
So
I'm not
good.
sure how a cotton candy slide would do in our
Exactly.
Florida sun, but
Exactly. But then we had the teenage group who was very thoughtful.
yeah.
And we had them do some of the same exercises we do with adults, which
Mm-hmm.
is we had them, we gave them a budget of $100 in coins and
Okay.
said, how would you spend your money on Parks and Rec?
Oh, wow.
And so they gave us their top priorities. We had them put dots on boards about
Yeah.
what facilities were most important to them, what programs were most important to them. And maybe that was about a dozen kids.
Wow.
And they were really, really insightful. I enjoyed both groups a lot. So it
That's
was good.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll compare the findings from that group to the findings from the steering committee to the findings from the survey we're doing, and we'll start seeing if there's themes that sort of bubble up
That
that are
rise up.
consistent among all the different
Wonderful.
groups that we meet with. Yeah.
Now, you just mentioned the survey, so
Yeah.
we do want to talk about that.
Yep.
You will be doing a statistically valid survey that will be mailed to 400?
Well, it'd be mailed out to a random
Random
sample of
sample.
probably, I'm going to guess 1,000 or
Oh,
more
okay.
folks.
Okay.
And then we're looking for 400 responses.
Okay.
So that will go out in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Okay, wonderful.
And then we'll follow that up after that's complete, because we don't want to confuse folks. But
Yes.
then we'll have an online survey,
Okay.
which will be open to anyone who wants to go online
So,
and participate. So
yeah.
then we'll compare the findings from the statistically valid survey to the online survey, again, to these other focus groups, and we'll start seeing
Yeah.
what the priorities really are. So
That's great.
yeah.
So if they don't get one in the mail and they still want to participate, they will be able
please,
to.
yes,
Okay.
for all the people who are listening, please, please, please,
Yeah.
if you get one in the mail, please complete it. And if you don't get one in the mail, please participate online.
And that will be posted on our website, so they can be on the
Yep.
lookout for them. I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll do a big
Yeah,
publicity
and
campaign.
you all will communicate
Yes.
and let people know how to find those. And,
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but it's usually, when we do these surveys, we usually do get a really good input, a number of people who participate in our online stuff.
Right,
So
right.
we should, hopefully,
Yeah.
our residents will continue to participate, because they do know that we take that into consideration. It's not like we just put it out there to hear what they want to say.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you said, it's used.
Yeah. No, and all of your council members, all of your staff really, really, really want to hear from residents
Yes.
about what's important to them, which helps us prioritize whatever spending amounts we have available, going forward. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's real important to get their input.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much for
You're welcome.
coming on. I really appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll have you back on in a few months to see how the process
Yeah,
is
that'd be
coming
fine.
along.
We're actually coming back at the end of the needs assessment. We'll be presenting to council, we'll be presenting to the steering committee, and then
Okay.
we're back again presenting the long-range vision and the implementation strategy. So
All right.
it'd be my pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for
welcome.
taking your time. I know you've been very busy this week,
It's been
so
a
thanks for
long week,
taking
yes.
a few minutes to come
Yeah,
talk
no,
to us.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and we will be right back after these messages.